Rich?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Upper Chichester Township Board of Commissioners Caucus meeting, April 14th, 2026. George, can you do roll call, please?
Sure. Commissioner Hankins,
Here.
Commissioner Godioso,
Here.
Commissioner Baraco,
Here.
Commissioner Bukowski,
Here.
Jim Halligan, here, Andrew Pople,
Here.
George Needles.
Thank you. Tonight we have two presentations. I'll announce the first presentation first and then the second one after the first one's over. First one is a presentation on the subdivision application of Thomas and Virginia Hosch for 2671 Rockhurst Avenue and 3100 Upland Road. State your name and
Sean McMahon with Wilkinson Associates representing 2671 Rockhurst Avenue. So submit an application for a simple lot line change between 2671 Rockhurst and 3100 Upland Avenue, Upland Road. There's an existing shed towards the rear of the property that the former lot line traversed through. That belongs on the 3100. So this application is to modify the lot line, go around the existing shed. There was 3 waivers requested. Relief from the curb and sidewalk installation requirements, a lot line design waiver to alleviate the 90-degree angle that tie into the right-of-way line, and the accessory structure setback requirement of 5 feet cannot be met due to site limitations with the existing pool 2671 Rockhurst and the shed 30.
is that all you have?
Oh, yeah.
Any commissioners have any questions on this?
Yes, pretty great. Right. So you understand that the planning board would recommend. I was reading the minutes, reading that they were approving the waiver. And it's actually, they actually can't approve or deny anything. And I'm sorry, your building, can you just go over the 90-degree again for the shed?
So the 90-degree angle applies to the lot of tie-in at the right-of-way line. The design recommendation is to tie in at 90-degree angle. The existing angle of the existing lot line is 81 degrees 22 minutes. We're proposing to be at 8 degrees 1 minute 21 seconds, trying to hold the same time right away. System between 2 lots previously, and there's an existing driveway that goes right down the side of the proposed lot line. If we were to utilize a 90-degree angle, we would need a access easement granted from 3100 Upland Road for a 4-foot lot strip driveway that is not utilized by twice and 7.
What's your setback with the land? What
The setback to the shed.
well, the setback, yeah, the setback for the shed is as well.
So the dwelling a setback was 1.7 35 yeah, greater. For 2671 Rockhurst, upland was about 32 feet, 20 feet now. We still meet the requirement. of 7 feet.
So the thing is, it's vital, so that we're building.
For the accessory structure. We're able to meet a 4-foot setback to the existing shed
Will that be to the front?
to the property, to the nearest corner. I don't know if you can see the shed in the back there, the red dot nearest the lower right corner.
See several put it out of the building.
And the bottom.
Point out to you.
That'd be great.
This is from here to here. You can only get the back. Then there's a setback, there's a existing pool here. With like this eagle, that's now. Can only get them.
Wouldn't it have been just easier to move the shed and straighten the line?
The shed has been there for 40+ years, it's on existing. It's over 100.
The shed's over 100 years old?
The shed, but it's an old house, no problem, no electric.
Oh, okay.
You guys are saying we call it. That's why I'm not taking care.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it a historical piece?
No. It was there already by bottom of all the. Back in 55. Originally had all. Yeah, it's 14 of them. Full of problems. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. His map, you know, was
Twenty two, so everyone like. That view is very relevant.
Can you,
Only one property. 40 years ago.
can you just state your name for us for the record? Thank you. Anybody have any other questions?
I have no comments as far as the proposed waivers. I think that they would be something that we would support. Just one minor housekeeping item is that it was originally, submitted as preliminary subdivision. If we want to, go ahead and approve it, then it would need another waiver for preliminary final at the same time.
Will we need that next week when? we
Yes.
Vote on this?
Yes.
Okay. From them?
Well,
Eric?
we've already written it into the resolution, so that's just a minor housekeeping.
Okay,
item.
thank you. Anybody else? Thank you very much. Next presentation we have is on the waiver request from Saldo Code, section 505-35 point B and section 505-32.8.2 A1 for the approved development at 2032/2034 Locust Street. State your name for us, please.
Yeah, good evening. My name's Dave Damon. I'm with H. Rory Damon Associates. We prepared the original subdivision, reverse subdivision plan. We're asked to come tonight to make a presentation on these waivers. This plan involved a lot line change for 2 existing lots that allowed the lot to be reconfigured with a line between a house and a garage that was being converted into a dwelling. That project is underway, and I believe that house, the conversion to the dwelling, pretty much done. Also, the contractor came in and started to install curb, and was informed by the inspectors that they would need to get a waiver for where they were putting it. The properties at the corner of Locust Street and Pleasant Avenue. It's 21 or 2032 and 2034 Pleasant Avenue or Locust Street. The waivers are both for providing a curb that would be 12 feet from the center line of Pleasant Avenue in lieu of 17 feet. That was on the approved plans. There's two sections that address that one, section 505-32A to A1, and the other is 505-35B. They both speak to where that curb line is located relative to the center line of the road. The request came about based on a desire to provide better front yard for those dwellings that would say the large pine tree that's located on the house that's closest to the corner. I believe that's 2132. And allow parking that their driveway there that would not block that sidewalk. The other concern the contractors had was the garage conversion. The curb line was closer to the house by 5 feet, and it was 12 inches higher than where that garage was becoming the house floor, and they're concerned about working out the drainage in the front yard area, because the curb is located 5 feet further out to the center line out for better drainage. We made a presentation before the planning commission, and they recommended this waiver contingent upon the fire marshal and fire truck turning Pleasant Avenue. That's what's presented. The plan in front of me is the fire truck, and it was about a 44-foot ladder truck bed. Was given to us by the fire marshal. It can travel down that lane, eastbound direction, and make that turn at Locust Street, with allowing a car to park along that north side of Pleasant Street. So that was one thing that was limited parking along the neighbor's property across the street, so the fire truck can make that turn. The and that's essentially what I'm here tonight. In the questions and answer.
I'm sorry, but, this project would start being approved.
The subdivision was approved a couple of years ago, yes.
Did all the grading out for that? Was there a grading plan approved also?
No, there wasn't. The building was existing, so there really was not a grading, per se, but no, the plan was approved without grading. To be truthful, there was no grading presented for that purpose side. And when they went to build it, that's, they think that's.
But I guess the point was there was an approved plan.
Yes.
Built. And then the contractor deviated from that plan, that notified. I think that's the love that happened.
Yeah.
So walk me through.
The builder had an approved plan, and he decided to go in a different direction without notifying the township.
Yeah, and I'm
Walk me through that.
Well, I can walk you through it. I got a phone call, maybe 2 or 3 months ago from the field, from the contractor, with the township inspector there saying, can you do a plan for this? They're telling me they need a plan showing the curb 12 feet where I'm going. It was actually under construction, the inspector stopped. I got a phone call.
Okay.
We put the request in. And when I did speak to the contractor, what's this all about? That's what. And we went out, I have, went and took pictures of it, and looked at it myself. I can see he's pointing with, you know, concern about the drainage issue. It's extremely close to the house in the corner, sidewalks 10 feet from the house and the tree, but without sidewalk construction.
Yeah, but I guess my point is, I think we could have alleviated a lot of these problems if he came to us before he went full blown construction. And then us going out there and seeing it afterwards.
Yeah, I agree.
Was, when the inspector came and stopped, did they continue to build after that?
That I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't out there. I don't know what they were at.
And one other question, part of this would also require that the people across the street wouldn't be allowed to park in front of their house no more?
No, you know, the plan that's up on the screen does show that they were able to park with the fire truck behind.
So I can provide some clarification there. The original plan that was submitted, I requested a fire truck turning template plan, exhibit plan from the applicant's engineer. They provided one, and that was different than this plan. That plan used a standard design vehicle for a fire truck, and we directed them to talk with the fire company and get the actual dimensions for the largest apparatus that they have down there or largest piece of equipment that they have at the fire department. And so that, what I assume that you went back and did that, and that's what's reflected on this plan now, that the piece of equipment that the fire department has, the largest piece of equipment, is smaller than what the design vehicle, or has a tighter turning radius than what the design vehicle did. And so that's this plan that's reflected here.
And it does allow the neighbor across the west side to park
I
completely on the pavement.
I can't see that, but you do have a clear dimension on the plan from the truck to the northern curb line,
It's, yeah.
like the
9
clear
feet,
9 feet.
And there's no curb at that section. It's just, so they could actually park on the grass and, you know, even be further off. There's 9 feet.
I think we allow parking on grass, do we, George?
No, we do not.
Okay,
So there's 9 feet clear from, you know, the fire truck, but that also shows that the fire truck is right up against the curb line. So it's tight.
Any other questions?
one more. So this has impeded the roadway by 5 feet. And if I'm
Well,
right,
the original plan widened the roadway by, you know, by 7 feet.
to make it, to make
To
it,
make it 17 feet.
to make it up to standard, up to,
Yeah,
code.
for a 34-foot.
Yeah. so now this has impeded that 5 foot though.
It's for a feet further out. In some areas, it's widening that paving, some in other areas, it's going out the corner into that paving. But most of, that whole neighborhood, we only had a 20-foot part of that. Through 90% of that area. So this is in keeping with the neighborhood, it's not anything.
I think the roadway in front of the house, you left it as is. You didn't go back to 5 feet to widen.
That's
So whatever the road width was prior to the constructions is the same now. The problem is the curb. You built that out, correct? And that's impeding the radius of that's impeding the turn radius there.
Well, the curb's pretty close to the existing paving, so it's not really built out. At the west end, it's back a little bit from the edge of the existing paving. And then where the turn occurs down at Locust Street, it goes out into that paving. But there's where it's wide, in that area, it's wider.
I just think the board, like me personally, I think the board should take into consideration how a plan was submitted, approved, contractor went out there, deviated from it, didn't notify us about it until you got caught. So I think that's the discussion that the board needs to have.
I understand.
Any others?
I think it's also important to note that this would still require no parking on the south side of the block along the property frontage, so that a fire truck can get in there. Because I don't believe that a fire truck would be able to make that turn if it was forced to the northern side of the roadway. Is that correct?
Well, it could.
Did you look at that?
Cars parked there, but if you had cars parked on both sides of the road, fire trucks can't get into that whole neighborhood.
I'm talking about if there was a car parked on the south side of the roadway and then the fire truck was forced to go to the north side in order to make that turn. I don't know if you looked at that or not.
I honestly didn't, but my gut feeling is I would be able to proceed.
All right. Thank you very much.
Well,
I have an announcement to make, that the Upper Chichester Township Parks and Recreation Department will host a Family Fishing Day on Saturday, April 25th, 2026 at 8 a.m. at Fury Road Pond. Come out and enjoy a morning of fishing, family fun, and at times outdoors with the community. We will now open it up to the public comment, towards well, everybody's in one row now. I don't know. Had me a little mixed up here. I'll start with the front row. If you have anything for the public.
Back there, John. That's fine.
Mr. Hosh? You have any public comments on anything? Yeah. Anybody else out there for public comment? If not, we'll move on to our regular meeting. Thank you. Take note, there was no public comment. Turn it over to the township professionals. Engineer report, Andrew Pokel. All yours.
Yes, good evening. So you have in your packet there my report. I'm going to go through the list of items on the agenda here to provide an update for the various projects that we have ongoing throughout the township. The first one is a library project change order number 3. This is Gorski Engineering had presented 3 options for change order for the electrical service for the library, and we met with the project team to review the change order yesterday. The change order could have additional cost implications regarding fireproofing within the building. So we're awaiting additional information from the contractor so that we can determine the full impact of that. And, we'll provide a recommendation once we get that additional information from the contractor. Essentially, the 3 options are: 1 is to provide new service from outside, run it aerially along the building, and then come into the electrical panel within the building. Option 2 would be to run the service that is outside, run that underground, and bring that into the building. And then option 3 is to upgrade the electrical service and provide a meter so that the township could monitor the electrical usage of the catering service that shares the building with the library. So that's the 3 options. They have, like I said, there's more cost implications that could be as a result of those change orders. So once we get that information, we'll provide that to you.
Are we going to have that for next week to different costs for the different scenarios?
I don't know that it's likely that we will. It's most likely next month.
So how do we have a change order if we don't know what the cost is?
I think we
Okay.
would table it,
Table it out.
yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
The next item is Kingsman Park. There's a change order to incorporate 3 signs into the planter as opposed to 1 that was on the original plan. This was requested by the Parks and Recreation Department. That cost is $2,525. The next is Kingsman Park pay application in the amount of $48,772.24. This is simply a decrease of the retainage on that project. Once a project is complete beyond 50%, then the retainage, by the contract terms, should be reduced to 5% retainage. So that's what this is. The next item is a DCNR grant application. This is for CBL Park. We are doing preliminary engineering, including surveying and geotechnical investigation. This is a grant application for lighting around the major field, foul ball netting along the first base side of the Teener Field, and that's to protect Chichester Avenue, and then the flagpole near the batting cage pavilion. So those are 3 items similar that would require a foundation. We would be a little further along in our geotechnical investigation and design services. So we believe that that's makes for a strong application, because that would be closer to being able to be shovel ready. So that's the reasoning behind that. The next item is the Green Light Go 2023, Chichester Avenue. If you'll remember, there was a total grant of $375,000. We initially had a grant amount of $34,000 and change. After talking with PennDOT, talking with Signal Service, who's doing the work, this is a grant application, or this is a grant that is ready to expire. So PennDOT would then, the work needs to be completed and approved and paid for by May 31st. Otherwise, if you don't use it, you lose it. So we talked with PennDOT. We talked with Signal Service as far as an expansion of the scope of services there. This is all still at the 6 intersections along Chichester Avenue that was in the original grant, and discussed which upgrades could be made to those intersections. So it includes, upgrades to signals for camera detection, and then signal replacements at the intersection right there at the corner of CBL Park, at Larkin Road and Bethel Avenue along Chichester Avenue. So the added match, there's a 20% required match for that. The added match is $63,455. And the estimate, it's actually a quote from Signal Service. It would be to purchase the equipment. PennDOT's already met with us and gave us the blessing on that. So it's likely to be reimbursed through the grant. And so we would be requesting, payment to Signal Service for $317,275.
Is that going to be done by the May 31st?
So the equipment will not be delivered. We're going to hold on to retainage. PennDOT is okay with authorizing that work, but the order will be placed. And so PennDOT is okay with proceeding in that fashion.
So we're still good with the grant then?
Yes.
Okay.
Next item is Johnson Avenue, change order number 2. This is to eliminate off-street parking spaces that were originally in the plan at Johnson Avenue Park, and a chain link fence at the corner of Huddle Street. So this eliminates that scope of work, but adds an extension of the curb of 190 linear feet and expansion of the sidewalk that that's deteriorated in that area of 213 square feet. So the net change order is $0. It's basically a swap of scope of work. The next item is, and there should be an exhibit plan in the packet that outlines all of that. Next item is the Johnson Avenue pay application number 3. This would be for additional curb, sidewalk, and stamped concrete border. We reviewed it in the field. They're about, I guess, 40% completed. And that's in line with the pay applications that are being requested. Next item is the 2026 road program. That was out to bid as of yesterday. We put that up on Penn Bid. So getting the word out, everybody, all the contractors out there, review it and come provide a price. The bid opening is May 6th. So we should have results for the May caucus meeting for review.
Do we know how many people bid that yet?
No, Penn Bid will only tell you how many people have downloaded the documents. Generally, they like to kind of keep their bid until the last minute and sharpen their pencil and then submit it at the last minute. So
I was just wondering if a certain contractor bid, that's all.
yeah. Next item is the Fury Road Bridge project. We've completed the documents for the DEP permit. There's an electronic submission process that'll be made. DEP needs to confirm that Upper Chichester Township has an account. We're exempt from permit fees because we're a municipality. And so because we're submitting, we RVE are submitting on behalf of the township. DEP needs to verify that and get permission from the township. I think they're in the process of sending that request to the township so that they can respond. And once that's done, then they'll accept our application and permit documents. Again, generally, that's probably an 8 to 10 week process. So that's where we stand. Hopefully we can get it faster. The next item is the Twin Oaks entrance project. We had a pre-construction meeting with the contractor last Tuesday on the 7th. They are in the process of looking at their schedule. They need to provide us with a schedule. We gave them language for notification to the residents. So once they add their information as far as their contact information, they can send that out to the residents. It is going to close Broadway Avenue for about 2 weeks while construction is being completed. We have an exhibit plan that shows a detour that would be in place during construction. And that would be diverting traffic onto Washington Avenue, which is 1 block south from Broadway along Market there. So that's where that stands. When we get the schedule from the contractor, we'll certainly notify everyone and go from there. That's all I had.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for the engineer?
Not so much the questions for the engineer, but I just wanted to notify the board that me and Brett were at that library project meeting yesterday also. And that, just for disclosure that we were there for it. From what I took from the meeting is, I think the goal is to have separate separate units, meaning we have a catering hall and a library. So I think they're looking at ways how to separate the utilities so that way we can keep costs. So that way we can track the cost of who's using what, as far as, electricity, water, heat. Also, there was mentioning that the roof needed to be redone. So we're looking at pricing for that. I think if the roof is going to be redone, we would consider doing the portion over the library part. And another area of concern was if it's going to be separated out as two separate units, that the wall would have to be fire rated. So they're looking into that also. So these are some of the extra costs that we're asking them to provide for us to see how much of an impact this change order is going to be for the township.
Thank you. Anything else? Then the other one was, the Kingsman Park, number 8, change order 8. Originally it was 1 sign, now it's 3 signs. What's it to it?
I can speak to this.
That's
So,
fine.
Originally, when it was priced out, there was a sign and then like a hanging sign underneath it that represented the funding partners. As we kind of met with them a little bit and talked about their different emblems and how that would sit, it just made more sense to have them as emblems that would go on the planter box. So it's basically to acknowledge a little bit better the funding partners from this point.
Thank you. No other questions. We'll move on to our solicitor, Jim Halligan.
Good evening. Number one on the solicitor's report is that the data center zoning ordinance has been advertised, so it will be ready for consideration for about next week. Our office, Mr. Crotty, has reviewed proposed resolutions that would be under consideration next week for 2671 Rockhurst Avenue. And the proposed resolution for the other presentation this evening, 2032 and 2034 vote, which should be that's gone through revisions to our office. That's all I have at this time. Yes, sorry. This evening, the Board of Commissioners did have an executive session on a legal matter.
Any questions for the solicitor? I didn't see that. I think Mike might have sent an email to me, but where are we at still with the redistricting?
Yes. The complaint for telling board is prepared. Correct. That's sorry.
Okay, no, I thought the process was already started, so we can just put the paperwork in the courts. I mean, I thought we agreed on that before, but if he has to bring it back to us and
No,
just get it moving. Right. Okay. All right.
So, what's the timeline? As far, well, we got the election coming up next year. I know there's 3 new there's 3 new well, I'm gonna say 3 new members, but there's 3 members that are up for re-election again. So are we following, I'm gonna call it the old map, or are we following the new map? So right now it is April. I don't believe this is going to affect again. So we will be following the old map for the elections. So my only concern about this is we have people that are designated in certain wards, but they can't vote for me. They can't vote for Joe, and they can't vote for Ed. They can only vote for people that are in that old map. It's kind of like representation. It's taxation without representation. So how much longer is this going to take? Personally, I believe it's never going to get done. So
We got to get it into the courts and see what happens.
it's been,
Unfortunately.
I mean, I'm not upset with you guys.
Oh.
I'm just saying,
You're right.
it's been, like Joe, I think Joe said,
10 years.
10 years, and we're under the old map still. I say follow the old map until the county says this is the new map.
Change the ordinances, change the ordinance. So you as the political body here, is that effectively the board of government, here, when you change, whatever. Comes to voting, the level of government that controls that, various things, never recognized. So you ask the leaders to compare something, you can tell them if they can actually, and they had a meeting where they brought us up, stated that they weren't getting to us yet because the Providence and Radley were the minority, which again is a problem in this county, they're not one of them. And then they didn't have anything. But I think you're correct. Even if you come in and have to be.
I mean, once it's filed this week, and once we have assignment for a judge, then we can file different motions with the courts to attempt to expedite the process. We, in preparing the mandamus action, I believe the documentation that we received as soon as possible to the hearing was support. Based upon all the steps the township took, seek adopting that, which we can get decided not to act.
I just tell my residents that until the county passes the map, you're in the war that you've always been in, because technically they can't, to me, until they can vote outside of that ward, then, or within that ward, I mean, the map is meaningless. I mean, if John wants to run for fifth ward commissioner, he can. He's in the fifth ward. He can. I'm not saying that that's what he wants to do, but I'm just, I'm frustrated because, like Joe said, we've been doing this for the past 10 years and nothing has moved, and I believe nothing will move.
And the other problem is, correct me if I'm wrong, if we pass a map and then it was shot down by the judicial lines and then the school district lines. We didn't meet them requirements, am I correct? Me either, that's why I'm asking.
For some of the reasons that were given, but my review is that.
So we had to argue that point.
So that's what we
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
argue.
Right.
Okay,
That would be, that
So
would,
just, whoops, sorry about that.
the reasons that have been stated to the township, and I was asked to review this matter by Mr. Crowdy. Paul. Researched it, reviewed it, and I spoke with some of the state. I don't believe that the county is applied the proper setting.
And that's gonna have to be our argument to move it forward. Just to put it out there, there's a couple new residents here tonight. This has been going on, as Joe said, 10 years. It's something that we as a board have to be bound to do every time there's a census. And we have to do our population vote only. Doesn't matter what party you're in, if you vote or not. Equal to up to 10%, I think it is, of each ward. But the fourth ward was like 38%, and everybody else was 16, 17, and 20. So we had to move that around to get equal. And the only reason that happened was the fourth ward didn't grow until later on down the road. But we're actually we've done our duty to do it, but another census will be here and it may still not be passed. So, and we may not even be on the board. So I just wanted to give a quick overview of why we had to do that, and nobody wants to seem to pass it. So, but other than that, we'll move along to our manager's report, George Nivens.
Good evening, everybody. So the first item on my agenda is probably the most important thing on our agenda tonight. Once a year, we host the annual Food and Fireworks event for July 4th to celebrate Independence Day. It'll be scheduled for July 5th this year. So you have three proposals in front of you for fireworks displays. One is from Starfire Corporation, the most creative pyrotechnical staff in the business. The second one is for another company here. Sky Shooter Displays, the Pyro Professionals. And the third is for Bixler Pyrotechnics, and they are professionally choreographed fireworks displays. Very good choices for the fireworks display. Currently, we are reviewing these proposals. When reviewing them, there is not a apples to apples comparison to be able to tell you that the lowest cost is effectively the best fireworks display that we should go for, because it's the lowest cost, and effectively we have to pick the lowest cost. Because Brian Warren has brought it to my attention today that the lowest cost firework company does not have 4-inch fireworks. We have 3-inch fireworks, and Starfire is quoting on 4-inch fireworks, so he's doing some in-depth analysis.
We went to big ones.
He's doing some in-depth analysis on the difference between 3-inch fireworks and 4-inch fireworks to see which display makes the most sense. So we will have a recommendation to you for the agenda. We have always used Starfire in the past, however, but again, we have other options there. The second item I have is the Insta Alert message display purchase. This is not a very overly expensive purchase, however, it was not included in the budget. So we're bringing this to you. This is a sign that's used by all the departments, but it's most used by the Public Works Department. It goes on the back of the truck. So in the event that they have work ahead or something like that, it advise people to display message. We would be asking for this purchase from the capital fund, and the price is $10,267.56. We currently have one. We'd like to get a second one.
That price is just for one additional.
That's for one side. Yes.
So if we're going to need more, maybe we think about the next year's budget.
Yeah, I think, one of the things with it is they need to be attached to the back of the vehicle at this point. Right, so we have to look at all the possible options for how to display it right now. It's worked pretty well for when we needed to put it up. We had it up with the Chester Water debacle, directing people where to go and who were closed and things like that. So I think it's a good purchase at this point.
Excuse me, are they interchangeable? Excuse me, interchangeable to one vehicle to the next,
Yeah,
or one to
yeah.
mount it?
yeah, it's interchangeable. It comes in like a little suitcase.
All right.
You have a request from the Delco Chargers to reduce the rate that they would pay for a field. The Delco Chargers are a travel baseball team. You'll see there's a whole explanation and history of them. They are a B local travel team that initially started out as an A travel team that solely consisted of Chichester All-Stars and district players. However, they've had to change the roster up, so they are seeking a discount from the field registration fee. Please review that and let me know your thoughts on that. The rec board that did support the adjustment and made a recommendation to the board. However, one of the things with the rec board is they do not have responsibility to the budget. So I think that also should be considered when you're looking at that item.
So they're looking to go 8 and 12 per player instead of just a standard 650.
The next item on the agenda, there's nothing in the book about this. This is the YSO player fee payment. As you know, as mentioned in the past, Mr. Hankins, myself, Township Solicitor, Brian, and Aisha, the Rec Department, we've all been kind of working on the previously adopted YSO agreement to see if there's a better way to be able to administer this. So in the time being until that is brought forth to the board, we'd like to suspend any requests for payment for YSO fees. Don't believe that that's something that needs a board action because the way the contracts are structured. However, we will review that with the Township Solicitor, and if so, that'll be on the agenda for this month. We have a request for a temporary handicap parking space from the Upper Chichester Township Police Department. This would be a parking space in the vicinity of 305 Taylor Avenue. An individual with a valid handicap parking placard who came forth to the police department requesting that the temporary space be granted in that vicinity. They recommended approval of the temporary space, so that'll be on the agenda. And we have two grant applications, resolutions that have come through, both of them for stormwater related stuff. So the first would be the Watershed Restoration and Protection Program, seeking up to 300,000 to complete the restoration, stream bank restoration for the Nommans Creek in the vicinity of the Bergdahl Park area, Mill Road, Bethel Road. That's a DCED grant we'd be going for.
Is that 300 for both locations?
What's that?
Is that 300,000 for both locations? You said Namens Street,
Their names Creek.
right? Or
So
Namens,
the locals call it Namens.
yeah, Namens Creek, but over by Bird Dog Field,
Yeah, yeah.
The other
it's
side.
in-
they interconnect.
Yeah, it goes through Berkeley,
Right, okay.
so it would be that.
Namens.
And then the next is for a flood mitigation grant. We'd be requesting funding to replace the West Colonial Bridge and Culvert. This is a bridge that has come up on the PennDOT inspection report. Multiple years that we've tried to acquire funding for the fixing of this. As you may remember, we did receive hazard mitigation grant funding recently to acquire and demo the property 2409 West Colonial, which sits right there, which we did, which has helped this problem that we still need to fix the bridge. So we'd like to try to get some money for that. And then I think that's all I have for tonight. Yeah, that's all I got.
Does anybody have anything for the manager? Okay, if not, we'll move along to our treasurer's report. Caitlin. It's Caitlin.
There is one escrow release up for consideration next week for McDonald's in the amount of $60,891.25. There is a list of trash exonerations totaling $9,984.16 up for consideration next week. The tax collector's report is in your binders tonight, as well as the list of bills totaling $1,305,551.83. And the financial statements will be available for you next week.
Thank you. Anybody have anything for the treasurer? I just have a comment, with the trash exonerations. Let me put it on record here. I am not against the trash exoneration. I think we might, for the board maybe to revisit that resolution. Is there, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm trying to figure this out. And that's why I want to make sure we're doing it, not right, but so it doesn't put us in a jam. If I file my taxes and that PA 1000 form has to go with the file,
Yes.
how do I know that I'm just filling out the PA 1000 and just handing it to you without knowing it's already been filed? Do we, I mean, was that resolution was going to try to,
So the way it currently reads and the way it currently is implied is that the if you qualify for the rent, well, it would be the real estate tax rebate through the state.
right,
You qualify for the trash. So the state, to be able to qualify for that rebate through the state, you fill out that PA 1000 form. And you submit, right?
submitted to
The state.
state?
So we require a copy of that form to be submitted to us with your paid tax bill from the prior year showing that you paid for the trash. So you're essentially self-reporting, right? It's very similar to like, if you are let's say you're a 1099 employee, right? Or a subcontractor. We have a earned income tax here in this town. You're obligated to self-report that. So if you work for anybody that's not a employer, anybody that you don't get a W-2 for, you have to self-report that. So if you don't self-report that, then the township, county tax collection committee, or Keystone would come after you for tax fraud. So we could do the same in this aspect. So I know that there's been conversation about waiting for something to come back. But I guess I'm like, you're already putting the onus on the person to self-report, right? You're gonna put it on them to self-report anyway. So are you waiting for a copy of the check they get back from the state to say that they got their real estate?
Well, what was the resolution that was brought upon us on that, and we didn't act on it? Because we wanted to still do the way we're doing. What to say, I just did a PA 1000 and filled up. Does that have the income stated on that PA
Yes.
1000?
You put your income, you have to state.
So how do we confirm it with the state that that's the right number? Because I
No,
could come here
yourself-
and say, hey, you're 45,000, I'm gonna get 45,000. Put it, say,
I think that if you wanted to do that, my recommendation would be that you hire like a firm to audit those, similar to like we have the collection through, so for instance, we hire Keystone and Keystone audits people, right? But people who work under the table, they still don't catch them, right? So like, this would be someone writing that one, so you could pay a firm to audit it. I think you pay more money to the firm
what we get back.
than you would ever get, like, that you'd ever make back in catching if that was the case. Now, we do from time to time have people that submit the wrong form where it's pretty like apparent that this is a form that like they're just filling out. We've had people come in who had no idea about the rent rebate form, and they bring in a 990 and or the PA form, and they put $70,000 in, right? Pretty good here, because you wouldn't qualify like that.
Right.
Because you have to qualify. So, the original resolution was given to you guys when we talked about changing this, had two major components. One was getting rid of the blanket waiving of the entire fee and going to a tiered amount. That's going to create a complexity in administration, which again, I'm okay, but I want to sit down with the department who's responsible for that. Make sure that they understand that the administrative burden that they'd be taking on for that. If we do that, and the other thing is, again, so right now they're self-reporting, right? So if you're going to go from a self-reporting to be honest with you, I don't know, but it have to be a self-reporting and a check. We're gonna have to find and
Right.
pay an agency that can do that on behalf of us.
Well, like you said, it would cost us, I mean, I don't know the exact number that we give back to the residents that qualify compared to what it would cost.
It's not huge. It goes up obviously as the trash fee goes up.
Right.
I don't think it's a bad idea to evaluate that process, evaluate the program and see if there's a better way to do it. It's just, costs, complexity, and not even complexity on like the level of like the staff having to handle more complexity. It's this is your most vulnerable population. So it's also, you're gonna have to explain it to them and make it work.
And I would probably say, Caitlin probably could answer this one, that probably 60% of them are repeats. I mean, basically, if not more. So we know. So, no, I just want to put it, I'm not against this, trust me. I'm not taking nothing away. I don't want to do that. What were you talking about the tier system? How would that affect the payment for that?
Well, like, so for instance, we blanket give back the whole amount.
Right.
What's it? Yeah, so it's at $377.30 if they pay in the discount period.
Right.
So if you qualify for any level of the tax rebate, you get the whole amount. You could tier that system and say, if you qualified for, if you have the lowest income of 10,000, you could get 100%. You have $20,000, you get this. I mean, the reality is we're seeing these applications come in with these seniors making, $30,000, and they include their paid taxes with it. And like, they got a $5,000 tax bill.
Right.
I get it. Tax bill. They have a $900 school, township tax bill. Like they're they're paying a decent amount to live here.
I hear you, trust me. And I'm fortunate enough, I'm still working to be able to do that, but no, I mean, I just wanted to bring it up. I was a little concerned with it, but I think like you said, maybe we need to look into it a little more to make sure we're okay, but not spend more than what we're giving out would be crazy, so. But anything we can help the seniors or anybody with a lower income, I have no problem doing. All right, for that, I'll move over to my commissioners' reports. Vice President Joe Biaco.
Thank you. None of my reports are in yet. I know the sewer authority is meeting tonight also. So I should have some updates, with them, I think it's just about on the new portion. Highway sanitation. They're running pretty smooth, probably gonna be hiring some, part-time summer help soon. Grass cut season. and cleanup.
Street sweeper, where is it? Still needs that part? Okay, I was just wondering. Nice to see it out.
Yeah, we only waited 3 years for it.
All right, moving along to Commissioner Mike Cardiosel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Really don't have anything to report tonight. My license and inspection report is in your binders. I have a planning report inside your binder. The minutes for 2671 Rockhurst Avenue from the Planning Commission is also in your binders. I think I mentioned earlier to you guys tonight that the potential car wash on Chichester Avenue, where the old Ecker Drugs, I believe it was, Brady, sorry.
You're going way back.
Yeah. They have withdrawn their application, so it looks like that's going to be moving forward to the zoning board for any type of hearings. Anybody has any questions for me? I'd be happy to answer them.
If not, we'll move to Commissioner Brett Hankins.
Thank you. Administration and financial reports are all on file. Just a couple recreation updates. The spring bingo that was unfortunately canceled due to water has been rescheduled for June 27th. So that's back on the books for June. I will say that Ed and I attended the Senior Expo this past week. I think there was like, what, Ed, 300 and some people there?
Yeah, nice show.
Yeah,
Very
it
nice
was
show.
a pretty good showing there. So that was a good event, and the Easter egg hunt was quite amazing to watch that disaster unfold on the fields down there. But there was a lot of kids, and they had a great time out there. So that was fun to watch. CBL opening day was just past weekend. So baseball is up and running, obviously up on the CBL. Some of the upcoming events: community yard sale, May 16th, and good old Bacon Palooza will be May 30th. Some of the upcoming events.
What is that?
Bunch of bacon, man. Bunch of bacon.
Up here?
Yeah, it's on the fields.
Well, you hear it first.
Take any questions for me?
If not, we'll move to my report. Fire and EMS to fire marshal reports in your binder. Emergency management should be there. The report for I'm not sure if we got it in quite fast enough for just the report for the response for the EMS, but the financials will be next week for you, Caitlin and George. How that financial, and for the rest of the board, they'll have a financial report. The new ambulance is delivered. They're getting it ready to be licensed. As I stated, with the new system going on all around the county, we'll do another evaluation in June to see if we'll meet with George and everybody to see if we have to change our model or not. And they had a bad accident there yesterday on Larkin Road, and it was good to know they were there in a heartbeat. So, they're doing their job. We're doing our job to help protect the residents as best as we can, especially financially. It's not cheap. The fire department have met our first meeting on Monday. we're starting slowly. We have another meeting in May. We're trying to get some kind of plan, a plan to get to the board, an evaluation of what they have, and what may be needed, and then, besides the sewer line, I mean, this is true. Even on that note, George, is there any, can we get any kind of support from us to send to the sewer authority to try to help out, get that issue resolved, or can we do that legally? With the sewer line at the new firehouse, to knowing that there's an issue with it, that they're gonna have to replace the whole thing shortly. Can we send support letter?
Can we basically force them to waive tie-in fees and stuff? Is that simple enough?
There you
No, I mean,
It's
not.
I mean, that's an independent board. I mean, we really can't tell them to waive, I mean, we can't force them to do that.
No, we can't force them. I get it, but
Yeah,
I was just looking for a support letter. I mean, if they went in front of that board, asking for some support, can we legally do that? Can we legally do that or no?
we can ask them anything we want, right?
Or
We can ask them. Not,
can we,
not
can the
force them.
board have a support letter to the sewer authority to help the fire department, since they're in a new building as Upper Fire Department? We found a hiccup, a big hiccup after the fact that the sewer line was down. Then we, as a board, send a support letter. If they go to the sewer authority, then we do that.
It'd probably be more cost effective to retie in a different spot. So that would, it may incur tap-in fees and all that. But we ask for relief.
We're not asking for the relief to tax, we're
No,
asking for support. Do them. I'm just looking, I just asked a question since we threw it up.
just give me some advice. I'm trying to help the fire company get a new line. How do I go about it?
I think the best. Year goes out, we can take a look at that site, that location. Sort it out, get a good understanding of what's going on over there, and start having conversations about what it looks like to extend it beyond.
Okay, I figure we'll put it out there. Any other questions? If not, need a motion to adjourn.
second.
I need a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?